everybody. You are listening to I'm Over It. My name is Atlanta DeCadernet Taylor, and this is my podcast.
So I'm here with Rio Viera Newton, who is a writer at The Strategist and all in all just a skincare queen.
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for having me
Yes.
on this fine Saturday.
Thanks for joining us.
My
Guess
pleasure.
It's me and all of my friends are us over here. This is
the sofa.
Yeah, me and Acorn's down here. I had to take his collar off because it has a little dangle on it, and I was doing one and he started moving in the background and it was like dangling and it was not great. I was like, sorry, that's my dog. Anyway, so I feel like I firsthand watched your skincare evolution. Maybe not firsthand because I feel like we were never really like tight friends, but I've obviously known who you were forever, always like was checking for you in a great way just because I knew we had so many
for sure.
friends. You always had such cute style and everything, and I feel like I watched your skin. I remember one time being like finding your page and I was like, what the hell is going on with Rio? What is up with her skin?
Yeah. I mean, I think people think my journey with skincare was like super linear. Like I had really bad skin and then one day I just had good skin. But it has been such a journey with so many twists and turns. Like I've gone 2 years where I have great skin. I've gone 3 years where I've had horrible skin. Then 6 months, it's a little bit better. Then another 2 months, it regresses. Which I think is all just to say that I've never wanted to promote kind of this goal skin. You know, it's more about fostering a relationship with your skin so that you understand its little quirks. So you understand how it works, so you don't feel betrayed by it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You've had kind of a skin journey as well, right? I feel like we've spoken about it before.
Yeah, no, I've had a full-on skin journey. And it's funny, like I had like a crazy breakout going on. It's finally cleared up, thank God. But yeah, my situation has just been it's like when I was younger, I kind of thought that it was just like, oh, I'm younger and like my skin is just like sorting itself out. But then it didn't go away. And then, yeah, it's just been like, I mean, finally, I would say maybe in the last year or so, I started taking like Chinese herbs for other stuff, like for, my female things. And that really helped. I mean, I went in there and I was like, listen, I have horrible PMS. Like I have really crazy, like bleeding and also really bad skin. So can you work on that as much as the other things? Because like, I can't handle it.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
And it's crazy how much the pill can affect your skin.
Right. Well, see that I have had the IUD for like the last 3 years. So I always thought, yeah, like I had the hormonal acne. I like remember I read somewhere or heard you talking somewhere about like the cystic acne. It's just been a shit show. Like I've tried the medications for it. What's the not Accutane? There was the other one that was new. That was spironolactone, which my skin freaked out when I took that.
It's hit or miss.
Oh my God. It literally exploded like I'd never seen before.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've seen so many people have such great results from it, but I've also seen some people who have had terrible results. Truly hit or miss.
So how did you get into skincare? Was it just like is there a piece of it that has to do with like the internal part? Like what, was it just, or like, how'd you get into skincare?
Well, yeah, kind of my origin story professionally, I'd say, like how I ended up as a beauty writer for The Strategist was post college. I started having really, really bad skin. And this was after a good 2 or 3 years of barely having a breakout. And just like you, I thought to
One of
myself, oh,
those.
it's over. I'm done.
Yes.
You know, I'm grown up, so I've grown out of my acne. Like, how lucky for
Yeah.
me. Then, of course, moved to New York City, was so stressed out trying to find a job, going to all these interviews. I would remember going to like 5 or 6 interviews a day.
Yeah.
And my skin just lost it. I'm sure it wasn't all because of stress. I'm sure it had a lot to do with geography and water and diet and all these different things. But I was developing this really severe cystic hormonal acne around my jawline, and it was so consistent. That was kind of the most alarming thing about it, is as soon as I would make it go away or find something that kind of eradicated it, it would pop right up again. So I couldn't really afford any of the buzzy skincare products that everyone was loving at the time. This was a big kind of like biologique research
Yeah.
days, you know?
Yes.
And I was post college, so I just like didn't have the money to be like fleshing out $60 a bottle when I felt like it. So I
Yeah.
kind of took to the internet, which in a lot of cases I don't think is the best move, but it did work out for me. And I got really into K beauty, Korean beauty, which was all extraordinarily affordable. And the thing that's so great about it is it's targeted towards like acne prone, but also really sensitive skin types. That's kind of their like baseline skin type in Korea when they're developing products. So unlike American products that you pick up at CVS, which are super harsh,
Yeah.
the products that you see in K beauty are very affordable and gentle and hydrating, and my skin just responded so well to that. So it's so funny who I actually first made this for, which I've never said publicly, but the person that I first made my Google Doc for was Stod and Lily Shemla. Those were the
Oh, okay.
people, because I went to their house for dinner and they were like, whoa, your skin looks so good. Because I had been
Yeah.
complaining about it nonstop. They were like, whoa, what did you do? And I was like, you won't believe it. I found all these products. They're from Korea. They're so amazing. You guys have to try them. They're all super cheap. And they were like, great, but how do we use them? Like, none of this is in English. How do you even like figure out how to do this? So I wrote them up kind of like a guide for what products to use, how they should be used, what they're doing for your skin, all of that, and sent it to them. And it just started getting passed around like crazy. And then it ended up in the hands of an editor at the Strategist,
That's so
who was
funny.
one of Lily's best friends. And the rest is history, basically. They published it. And yeah, I've been writing
Uh,
for them ever since.
how long ago is that?
That was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
So feels like a million years at this point.
Yeah, I've never tried the K beauty. I've heard about it obviously, but I don't know, I mean, maybe it's something I should try. But it's like, okay, so do you have to do you do the whole thing, or it's like bits
I
and
would,
bobs and like
yeah,
you
I would say that's probably the biggest misconception about skincare. If there's one rule of thumb that I preach, it's that consistency is key. So creating a routine for yourself that's realistic, that you're going to do every single
yeah.
day, is so much more important than going out and buying a million steps that you know you're going to get lazy and not want
Yeah.
to do at night.
Yes.
I've seen people who have incredible results from 6 or 7 products in their routine, but I've also seen amazing results from just 2 products, like a really good cleanser and a really good moisturizer. So it's all, if anything, I would say it's way more about educating yourself on ingredients and trying to become a little bit less scared of the backs of your products, which I know can be intimidating.
There's so many things written on the
Mm-hmm.
backs of
I
them. And
know,
I'm
I
just
know.
like, I mean, I went through the thing of when my skin, I mean, it was so hard because there was also like huge life changes happening. So that's the thing, like
Totally.
the stress part of it, right? Where it was like, I remember when I like quit smoking, or like when I went through like a pretty crazy like situation, and it was like really traumatizing. So like
Mm-hmm.
that, my skin was just like between that, and then I had to take like a bunch of medication, and like there was a quit smoking, and it was just like all of these things that my skin was just, it was like just part of, I don't know. It was so hard to say, like, is this just like my life is this just like my body reacting to like the life stuff that's happening? Or I remember I was like eating really clean at the time, and my skin was just like, fuck you, I don't care. Do you watch your diet in term, not like for how you look, but do you like pay attention to stuff like that when it comes to your skin? Are you like as concerned with what you're putting into your body as you are as what you're putting on?
Yeah. So I think the number one thing that dermatologists will often tell you is to, if you wake up with a really bad breakout, to write down what you ate the night before. I don't do that because I just am not the kind of person that can do those kinds of things in a healthy way. Just like if I am watching what I'm eating like that, it's just reductive for me, and I know
I
that.
feel that.
So I try and kind of think about more of the lifestyle things I'm doing. For example, if I go out with friends and I drink one too many sugary cocktails and I wake up with a breakout, I'm like, well, yeah, I have a breakout, but was worth it because I hung out with all my friends last night. You know what I mean? It's more about kind of understanding, like I said, your body's little quirks and kind of weighing whether it was worth it or not. And a lot of times it is.
Yeah, I think that is really important, because even what you're talking about is convenience and stuff. Because I remember also when I was like 18 and I was like doing the biologique stuff, and it was like when I was modeling a bunch, so I had enough money and this and that. But I remember getting to a point of being like, the amount of money that I'm spending on like those facials combined with like all of the products, which like half of them would sit there in my fucking medicine cabinet, because I was just like, this is too many steps, I don't know what to do. And even now it's like, I mean, I remember I saw a facialist in LA who helped me go through like all of my makeup products as well, to see like what was in them that was possibly making me break out. Because I had the same thing, it was like always here, and same still, when I break out it's always like here.
Me too.
But like we found out, I'd gone the route of trying to do like clean makeup and like clean skincare, and found out that like my skin, just like coconut oil, like does not work. So like all those things like RMS and, I was using them, and it was just like always the same thing. And then, my actual makeup we started checking for, and like found out that a lot of that it was just, it's a lot,
it
but
can
it's
be
a
so
lot
much
of
trial and error.
information.
And I think that is what's frustrating, is you don't know how your skin is going to respond to something until you try it. So it's hard to kind of preemptively avoid acne, if that makes sense. Like odds are you're going to have to be triggered by a product in order to figure out what doesn't work for you. So that's another frustrating thing. But I will say that has been something that I've been doing a lot right now, has been experimenting a ton of products and kind of being like, if I break out right now, I could not care less. Who's going to judge me? My cat, you know what I mean? Like, so that's been fun.
Oh, so do you just get, at this point, are you just like, are people sending you stuff?
Well, it was interesting because I have a desk at New York Mag, and like, it was cool because all of us would get sent stuff, and we would kind of like pick and choose which of the editors would try what. And so it never really felt wasteful. Now, when I get stuff sent to my house because of everything that's going on, it definitely feels a little like tougher. I feel a little bit guiltier about perhaps like not getting through all of the products. But beauty is just so wasteful in general. So
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that the waste factor, it's really starting to fuck with me in terms of like when you see all of it, or when you see the boxes that they come in, and you like take everything out and you're looking at it, and it's just like, I mean,
and just like so much stuff in the packages too, like, ribbons and confetti and things like that. There's so much stuff.
And it's like, obviously we're so lucky to be getting that stuff. But even, I mean,
of course,
I stopped accepting like gifted clothes at this point, like just because I felt like half the time I wasn't wearing them, and I gave a lot away, but I just was like, I can't accept this. And I'd be like, hey, what is it? Can I see if like I'd want to wear it, kind of thing. And then it was just like, I can't, because it's just same thing. Like, it's just so wasteful.
Yeah, totally.
So when you started working at the Strategist, was that like, were you just like given a full-time job there at first, or did you sort of like start with like a little bit and like work your way up?
Totally. So when all of this happened, I was actually working in the publicity department of Interscope Records. So I was kind of moonlighting as a columnist at the Strategist only once a week.
Okay.
And then I was kind of increasingly getting responsibility at the Strategist and at Interscope at the same time. So for the last year I worked at Interscope, I was basically fully employed by both people. So on my lunch break, I would like run out and like film a video at New York Mag, and then like run back to my office and like take a meeting. And it was just getting to a point where I had to decide. I always knew I wanted to work in beauty though, but I just didn't know how to break into the industry. So it definitely felt like, my truth was coming to fruition in front of me. And then they offered me a job in 2018, a full-time job. And yeah.
What did you study at Bard?
Writing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I was definitely doing a lot of writing at Interscope. It was just different. It wasn't journalism. It was like I was writing bios for people. I was writing press releases for people, which I enjoyed. It was fun and challenging, and it's cool to get to write in different styles.
Yeah.
Which is something I don't so much do anymore at the Strategist. It's definitely like a very first person focus. Like it's definitely Rio's voice.
Yeah.
Which is great, but it was really exciting to kind of like put on different hats when I was doing my writing at Interscope.
What would be your, like, because we're about the same age, right? I'm 28.
I'm 26, so yeah,
Okay.
basically.
So do you think you always want to work in beauty? Is that like do you want to ever have your own line? Like, do you have like a kind of dream scenario when it comes to that?
Yeah, I really want to get my esthetician license. That's something I definitely was thinking about doing very seriously before all of this happened. I don't know exactly whether I would want to work in product development or whether I would want to do facials for people, but definitely something of those two worlds. I love beauty. It's just, I don't know. I feel like I see so many people who work in fashion, and I think fashion's so awesome, but it can be really competitive, and it can be just tough. It can be just a really tough business, and I just don't feel any of that with beauty. Everyone's so kind, and there's always room for so many people, and I've never kind of felt that urgent competition. Does that make sense?
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
It's just like
great
a very
industry to work in.
welcoming
Yeah. Oh no, we're getting a call out here. We have a landline.
Who's that?
What's been your, I know we have a landline. So I am a firm believer that, I don't think outsides are everything, obviously. I think that like a huge piece of self-love doesn't come from what you look like, but I do also believe that your outsides can inform your insides. And I do find that like, when I like how I look, I feel a little better. And when I have a cute outfit on, I feel a little better. And that doesn't mean I have to dress like that, like, or put makeup on or whatever, but it just makes me feel more confident. And I've just like found that to be true, So like, is your relationship with beauty, did it come out of a place of like, wanting to feel better about yourself? Were you having like issues with your self-esteem due to your skin? Because I know I felt that way. I was like always really embarrassed about it. I felt really like ashamed that I had such crazy skin, and I would look at people with like stunning skin and just be like, how are you doing that? You know, like I always felt this thing of, why do I have just this, like these explosions on my face, you know? And it really did affect my self-esteem. So
Yeah.
where did that have, like, was that a connection for you, or was it just like, I love these products and they're fun?
I mean, I definitely get this question a lot about kind of like, do you feel like you're perpetuating this idea that people, specifically women, like need to look a certain way or present themselves a certain way? But I
Yeah.
think like in large part, a lot of, and I can only speak for myself truly, but a lot of what I do isn't in service for anyone else but myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like you're not
Like
telling people what to do.
I put on a blue eyeshadow because it makes me feel cool, not because I
Yeah,
care about what other people think of me. But I also think like, you know, another question or something I think about a lot is like, you know, by perpetuating or selling a product that's meant to treat acne, do you feel like you're perpetuating this notion that acne is something that needs to be treated?
for sure.
And I don't think that is the case at all. On the one hand, I think there are like so many incredible skin positive brands and media companies that are just kind of like stripping down those kind of overly retouched filters that we've been seeing for so long. But on the other, like, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up just how gnarly it is when you are struggling with really bad acne. And I recognize that a lot of that is because you feel shame because other people put shame onto you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's been a few times where I've posted photos of myself on the Strategist, and you know, I haven't been retouched, I haven't been face tuned, and I've had pimples, and people have commented like, how am I supposed to trust someone whose skin looks like that? um but you know, 2 years ago, like, the New York Times published this study kind of shining a light on the correlation between acne and depression, and the results were staggering. It's not just this vain thing because we're all narcissists. It's
Interesting.
very, very real.
Did which one informed which?
Well, I think that there are obviously cases where people are depressed and then they go on Accutane or something like that, and their depression gets significantly worse. But there
Yeah.
are also cases where people get acne and it just completely erodes their self-esteem. Again,
Yeah.
I understand that it's because there's so many layers here of criticism from others, and we all have to kind of untrain our brains for what like beauty means to all of us. But it's pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, I relate to that too, obviously. You know, even I mean, when I've posted photos of me in my bathing suit or whatever, it is this idea of like, well, you're adding to the issue of like a male gaze, or what
Hmm.
that, you know, that you do have to look a certain way to feel good. And I also, like, I don't tell anyone what to do. Like, I can only share my experience. And
Hmm.
again, like, it just comes down to a personal thing, and I don't want to live my life based on like constantly fighting. And I mean, there are a lot of things that I work on in terms of like getting past my own shame of feeling a certain way about my body. And you know, it's
Hmm.
very ingrained in me from such a young age. Like, I joke about like the Victoria's Secret syndrome, but like it's kind of real from like growing up, and that was like everywhere, and like seeing those bodies and thinking like, you know, and we know those girls and they're lovely and sweet. It's not their fault, but just these ideas of like what sexy looks like. And again, it's so layered because it's like, well, you know, why do you, what is sexy, and are you doing this for a man, and this and that, and it's super layered. And I'm just a believer that, you know, I take little steps. I don't think it's, I think living in ignorance of the state of what the world is like right now is doing a disservice to someone's mental state, if that makes sense. Like, I don't
Yeah.
believe that, you know, the idea of getting catcalled, right? Like, you can wear whatever you want, but don't live in ignorance thinking that you're not going to get a certain response, because like you will, you know, and that's just the reality right now. That doesn't mean like go out, wear whatever the fuck you want, but don't be surprised when you get a certain response, because we're not in the place right now that you can walk out and people are like, okay, cool, your tits are out, that's cool, but no one's going to respond, you know, we're just not there yet. So I believe that, like, for me, there are certain things that I just like take the easier, softer way, where I'm like, it's not worth fighting against this, what's happening. Like, there are things that are worth fighting for, but for me, there are certain things that I just accept to be like my reality, right? Where skincare and my body and how I like to look in my clothing, like, that's something that I accept, that that's just part of my thing, you know, and like, that's okay, because it really does come down to a confidence thing for me. And I don't know if, you know, you've had this, but as well, I think for me, I was always a certain size, always, you know, so when things started changing for me, you know, due to like when I stopped drinking and when I, you know, started taking this medication and stuff, I was just uncomfortable because my body was different. It doesn't mean that, you know, I'm any less lovable, but I'm uncomfortable with it, you know, and like, that's okay. And there's so much with like skincare too, of like exactly what you're saying. Like, why do you care so much about what you look like? You should care so much about what you look like. But the connection to that and your confidence and how you feel, I think, is really important.
Yeah. And I just don't think self-respect and confidence and also caring about your skin or caring about the way that you present yourself are mutually exclusive.
100%. Yeah.
You know, I think that, you know, you can and should be able to do whatever you want because it is your body and no one else can tell you otherwise.
Yeah. No, I know. It's, I think when the outside stuff, you know, people, especially in the world that we're in, you know, it's like constant, I mean, I'll just say like my world is very, shouldn't care about what you look like. It's not about that, you know, like, and you're exactly like adding to the problem if you do. But yeah, I actually would love to find that article that you were talking about between depression and your skin, because
Oh yeah, I'll send it to you for sure.
yeah,
It's great.
I think that I think when you can stop recognizing yourself in one way or another, I think that that's really hard,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So I don't know. I sorry, I just went on like a little bit of a ripping tear, but I think
No, I loved it.
I think that there's so much more to it than just, you know, of course it's a combination of things of like loving I'm starting to get more into like branching out into trying new things and beginning to like learn about AHA products versus like, you know, salicylic acids or whatever. But I'm totally scared that my skin's still going to break out. But you know, I'm starting to experiment. Like one day I would love to just be able to like get whatever product and like my skin not break out, but maybe that's never going to happen.
Well, I think that, you know, there are more brands and products and steps in existence right now than there ever has been in the history of cosmetics. There's a reason why you're overwhelmed. You know,
Right.
It's not just because you're out of the loop, it's because it's so oversaturated.
Yeah.
So you have to be a really, really smart shopper now when you're buying.
Yeah.
A lot of times, like, there will be two products. One of them has a price point of $90 and another one has a price point of $25. And you look at the ingredients list and it's the exact same thing.
Okay.
But it's all about branding. And I don't necessarily.
I'm a sucker for branding.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's what I was about
so
to say.
cute.
It's also okay to buy into something for the experience of it, you know?
Yeah.
Like when people are like, I bought this, you know, $70 Tom Ford highlighter and bronzer because it made me feel good. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, like if you enjoy it and it brings you joy and it's something you use a lot and you love it, it's okay if there might be a very similar product that's cheaper. But there's
Totally.
also people who, you know, dupes or things that are at a lower price point are things that bring them joy. Like they it's fun to kind of like crack the code and unearth
Totally.
this like little beauty secret. Like that's also, you know, fun for people.
Yeah. So I would love to get to see some of your favorite, you know, items that you're
Yeah.
using right now and sort of like
I
explain
have
to
kind of,
me like what you're obsessed with or what are like the most important you know, I hated when people would ask me these questions like what's your can't live without thing, but I'm
your
actually
holy
so
grail.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm actually so curious what I'm like, where is my notebook? Why isn't it here? I guess I can always
Well,
re-listen to the episode.
I will be honest, my routine is definitely like more of a revolving door than other people's. You
Okay.
know, like I said earlier, I definitely would recommend sticking with stuff. You know, people
Okay.
say like a general rule of thumb is that you can't see how well a product works unless you use it every single day for 30 days.
Oh,
Which is a
that's not
long
that
time.
long. I mean,
Okay, well, I'm glad you say that because a lot of people are like, "What? I can't wait to see a full result for 30 days."
no, you're never
But
gonna
it
get
seems like you're a
results.
patient queen, so
I am a patient queen, exactly. You gotta wait, you gotta work for it, you know?
yeah, definitely. So, should I start?
Yes,
Should
start,
I start
please.
with the
Tell me what
okay.
you've got. Okay.
So, something random that I've been trying that turns out I really love it because it's all the way down to here. So, Moon Juice put out a
Yes.
skincare line. Initially, gonna be 100% honest, I was like, huh, okay, weird. Didn't see that coming. I don't know who develops their products, but they're all really, really good. Hot tip is that they launched a P50 dupe that is very similar, and I think
Interesting.
it's around $47. So that's like a
Okay.
good almost $30 cheaper than a bottle of P50, but I don't have that on me right now. This is the cleanser.
Okay. I'm like, wait. First of all, let's start with what are your steps? Like, what do you do? Cleanser, toner, like what? Let's start with that actually, because
Totally.
like,
Non-negotiable things for me
mhm.
personally. I kind of have a 3-step non-negotiable
Okay.
thing. And then everything else is kind of just supplementary little added things.
Okay.
I wash my face every single night as someone that has acne
Just in
prone
the
skin.
night?
Well, sometimes I actually don't wash it in the mornings. I will if I feel like I've sweat a lot at night. Otherwise, I'll just splash some water on it. And I think that's totally fine. Again, we're
Interesting.
realistic. We're realistic over here about what we need to do.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so this I use today. It's a very kind of nice and neutral, milky cleanser. And it's
I'm
also
writing these things down.
um recyclable. Yeah, this tube is made from sugarcane, so it's recyclable, which I love as well because it looks like it would be plastic and something that would be
That's a
kind of
cleanser.
difficult. This is a cleanser.
So what about using two different cleansers, like
I
morning,
do
night?
that. Oh, I thought you were saying double cleansing, which I also do
I've heard
do.
about double cleansing, especially if you're wearing
Yeah,
makeup. Like that's what I've heard
definitely.
about.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely about double cleansing when I wear makeup. People say that even if you've gone out and about and you didn't wear makeup and you wore sunscreen and you've been like sweating during the day, you should still double cleanse, which I do that as well. But I'm going to be honest, as of lately, I haven't really been emerging that often. So
Yeah. Single cleanse.
single cleanse in this day and age, even though people will probably get mad at me for saying that, but just being honest
Why?
here. I don't know, because people who are devout double cleansers are very pro double cleansing. They're like very passionate about it. And I respect it because I love it too. But I also think it's good to be realistic, you know?
No, I'm all
Beauty
about
writers,
that.
they're
Yeah.
just like us, you know?
Yeah.
um so yeah, I'll cleanse. So sorry, I got sidetracked. My 3 like non-negotiable things is I'll cleanse. I'll usually do a supplementary moisture thing and then I'll moisturize. Does that
Okay.
make sense? So I'll
Pre-moisturizer.
do Yeah, like I'll do a cleanser, an essence, or a serum, and then a moisturizer. I just have
Okay.
extremely dry skin, so making sure I'm getting in that kind of layered treatment of
Mm-hmm.
moisture is really important to me. I also have terrible eczema and psoriasis on top of my pimples, so it's clutch that I keep that in the mix. So another thing I've been liking is, have you heard of Versed?
No.
Heard of their products? First of all, they're super cute.
Okay, that is cute.
Um,
Got a little
and
Glossier moment going on with
yeah,
that.
it's kind
That's
of that
cute.
vibe.
Yeah, it's got a little Glossier.
And so these are great because they're super affordable. This line is all very, very cheap. I think they sell it at Target as well. And this I always recommend to people who can't be bothered to cleanse. So this is
Is
kind
it like
of
a
like exactly, it's a pump, and what it does is it
ah,
takes off your makeup, it takes off all the dirt from the day, but it also conditions your skin at the same time. So it's not stripping at your skin. I obviously would recommend doing these two back to back.
okay. Wow, yeah. I
So
love
cleanse and then do a toner afterwards.
Oh,
But
that's a
again,
toner.
technically, it's called an
Okay.
all-in-one hydrating milk. So it's kind of a micellar water
Loves the milk.
moisturizing toner milky moment. Loves the milk, and that's a fact about me. So that's that.
Okay.
Next steps. This is probably my two favorite products of the year, which is a big claim coming from me. But I don't know if you've heard of this brand, Then I Met You.
No.
It's amazing. So the girl who runs this brand is Charlotte Cho, who created Soko Glam, which is a big K-beauty retail site.
Okay.
She just knows so much about skin and has tried every single product in existence because it's her job to curate products for the site. So
Yes.
she made her own line, and it's just every single ingredient that I love in one. And something else I'm going to say, sorry, I'm moving it like a million
No,
miles
I
a
love
minute.
it.
The number one problem I see in people who love skincare is that they over exfoliate like crazy, which I think in large part, I don't want to blame because I love this product, but I think it's like the P50 culture of just like, I want to put it on my face as much as possible.
Okay.
Over exfoliating can really strip your skin, and then your skin tries to overproduce oil to compensate, and then it breaks out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're using an exfoliant every day, twice a day,
That's a lot.
you're stripping a lot of essential natural oils from your skin. So this is only 1%. I think it's AHA
What
and
is
PHA.
that?
This is a toner from Then I Met You. It's called the Birch Milk Refining Toner.
Loves a milk.
I mean,
Wait,
you
birch
know what?
milk. And wait, hang on. That's a toner. Okay, and then what's the other one?
And then this is an essence also from Then I Met You.
What's it called?
And it's called the Giving Essence. And I think this is a little bit more expensive. I mean, it is more expensive than the products I've mentioned before. I think this set together is around $70, but it's two products
Okay, that's
for
pretty good.
$70, which
What's
is,
the difference
it's
between an
not.
essence and a toner? Or like,
So a toner is, since this is an exfoliating toner, this is
mhm.
exfoliating your skin. So it's buffing away any dead skin cells while also replenishing your skin with anything that it's taking out.
Okay.
And then this is kind of just like an added moisture treatment.
Is that like a serum?
Well, kind of. I'd say essences are more watery than
Like a
serums are.
hyaluronic acid or why are you
I love
laughing?
it. Because I just love
You're
it.
like you're like
No, I love when people throw out buzzwords. That's my favorite thing. Like hyaluronic acid, serum, essence. Oh no, but I love it. I'm sorry, what is the question you just asked me?
Okay,
There's no
what's the
hyaluronic
difference
acid
between
in either.
what's the difference between an essence and like a serum?
This question's tough because there are so many different kinds of formulas for both of those things. So I don't want to give you the wrong information and then you go back to your
I'm like,
cabinet and
Rio, what the fuck?
yeah.
I'm like, buys a whole
Do you
new
know what I'm
skincare.
saying though?
Yeah.
I think I think that the problem when we make like these all-encompassing statements is that like every product is formulated so specifically. So sometimes there's serums that have AHAs in them.
Mm-hmm.
So they also exfoliate your skin. There's also essences that sometimes have AHAs in them. But
Okay.
overall, essences are made to be a supplementary hydrating step
Okay.
that you do after you apply an exfoliant to replenish your skin.
Got it. And then would you put serum on after if you are going
Yeah.
the serum route? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, that was
Noted.
also so confusing.
No. It's listen, you're a professional. I'm an amateur. This is what I'm here
No,
for,
no,
to
no,
ask the questions.
not at all. I know how confusing the kind of like repetition of certain words can be when you're talking about skincare. People are like, oh, serum.
Do you do the same like the same routine every day?
Yeah.
Or do you like mix it up sometimes where you're like, okay, for today every 2 days I'm doing this, then I switch off doing this other thing? Or is it every day when you're in this phase of like, this is my current routine, I do it every day? Like, do you believe in different, like, do you use a different, like?
Well, I think there's some things that you shouldn't use every day, like a retinol, for example,
Yes.
or an exfoliant. Like I definitely don't exfoliate every day.
Yeah, no.
But like I said, for the most part, I have like a core 3 products that I always use, and then I kind of add in supplementary
Okay.
treatments as needed.
Okay. Noted.
Cool. Love it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a moisturizer next.
I
Stop
need
boring.
help with moisturizer.
Okay, so I was having really, really bad eczema on my face. So I went into this store in New York, which you should go to. I don't know if
Which
you've
one?
been there before. It's called UU 35mm.
No.
It's on
Where is
Canal and
it?
Mott.
Okay.
And it is truly one UU 35mm.
Okay.
And it's truly one of the most incredible kind of like skincare stores and just like treasures I've ever experienced. It is absolutely divine. It's tiny but jam-packed with products, and everyone who works there is amazing and essentially an amateur dermatologist. And I walked in, I was dealing with some really, really bad skin sensitivity, picked up this because I saw a couple of ingredients on the back that I found interesting. And the girl came up to me and told me that her boyfriend was getting terrible razor burns from shaving. And this product was the only thing that had helped him get rid of the razor burns. I don't have razor burns, obviously, but I have skin sensitivity.
Armpit. It's really weird. I don't know what's happening. No,
Well, this might be of interest to you then.
Okay, is that is it heavy? Is that like an intense one? Like
I wouldn't actually say that she's incredibly rich.
Because
she does the job.
I need like a more sensitive moisturizer, like a lighter moisturizer.
I would say
like I have my
nighttime.
Okay, because I have like my nighttime one that's a little heavier, and then I need one for the daytime. So
I like this one. I think you would like it.
Okay.
From what you're describing to me. Yeah. It's like, it's substantial without being too greasy and rich. I could definitely wear this during the day.
Okay.
And it has a lot of interesting ingredients in it. It has mushroom in it, which is proven to be like a very wonderful antioxidant for protecting the skin and also brightening the skin. Also, there's this ingredient called galactomyces ferment filtrate.
Totally.
Which is a mouthful. And it is kind of like a K-Beauty all-star ingredient because it kind of does it all. It moisturizes, it brightens, it replenishes the skin, and that's also in this.
Okay.
Which is fab.
Love it.
So that's the moisturizer. How are we doing with sunscreen, Atlanta? Be honest.
Okay. Honestly, I wear a tinted moisturizer with sunscreen like every day.
Okay. So we're gonna get you on a sunscreen. That's my goal for the end of this pod episode.
Right now that I'm doing nothing.
Well, the thing is, so I was talking to a friend of mine who had been not wearing sunscreen throughout all of quarantine. And she noticed that some scarring on her chin was getting significantly worse because UV rays can penetrate through your window. Or even if you're going on just like a 5-minute walk, also, just to make matters worse, blue light from our computer also can affect our skin.
No way.
So there are certain sunscreens like this one from Dr. Loretta, which is amazing, which are formulated particularly to protect your skin from UVBs.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's great. That's blue light. UVB. She doesn't know. Shocker.
No, it's not. Blue light is a different moment.
Oh, okay. It's okay. She doesn't have to know everything.
But yeah.
Okay.
Another thing that we're going to talk about is, so actually a Glossier product that I really love, which is makeup remover for your eye makeup, which I feel like is something that I struggle with a lot. Making sure that I find a product that takes all my eye makeup off kind of in one swoop. Without having any residue or having to tug at it a lot.
Okay.
Love her. And then these guys, pimple patches. Are you about pimple patches at all?
No, never used
They're
them.
wonderful. They're absolutely wonderful. So these are kind of the original, and which are from Cosrx.
Okay.
And you put them on your skin, on clean skin when you're having a breakout.
Mm-hmm.
And if the pimple, it doesn't really work with cysts, but if you picked your skin or you have a whitehead and you put this pimple patch on it, it'll absorb all of the pus and liquid from your skin, and it's amazing.
Are you supposed to put the rest of your routine on top of it?
No, so I actually avoid that area. I do it around that
area. That's I feel that. Okay.
But I think it's really important to put on clean skin with no product on top of it, because that way it kind of like adheres to the skin.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
The other thing is this one from Starface, and they're little stars. So I wear them outside of the house happily if I'm like running to the bodega or going to a yoga class or something, or historically when I was going to a yoga class. Charlie, also Howard, has really cute ones from Squish that are flowers. That are also adorable. I ran out of those. That's all the skincare I have.
No eye cream?
I am kind of like always rotating a different eye cream. I don't have a holy grail eye cream.
Okay.
If you will. I'm kind of always testing and trying out different eye creams.
Wait till you turn 28. You're gonna start needing it. Let me tell you. You wake up. This is what started happening to me is I wake up and I have a line.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I wear eye cream. Okay, so I have a lot to choose from. But what's like your other, like a light moisturizer? Because that's really what I'm struggling with right now.
Well, it depends. Do you have dry skin or do you feel like you have more oily skin?
Oily.
Okay, so you're probably in the market for like a gel-based moisturizer.
Okay.
There's one from Biossance that everyone really likes. It's a probiotic.
Oh, okay. This is cool because I just ordered. Okay. Hydrating oil.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you what I'm working with. And I'm curious.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so let's start with my cleanser. So I fell in love. By the way, these are all recommended from my facialist. I'm a little embarrassed because there might be a little more old school. They're not quite,
No. I love an old school product.
Okay. So I use this oil and clay emulsion cleanser.
Okay. Who's she from?
Geothermal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard of that brand.
It's really great. And I do it in the nighttime. I gotta say, I've kind of gotten like a little crazy with my skincare which somebody asked me to talk about my skincare routine, and they were going to like give me money for it, and I got a little freaked out. So anyways, here they go. So this I do in the evening. I mean,
Okay.
the morning. That's what I said. No, the evening. Yeah.
You
And
said
I
the evening,
started
yeah.
doing my facialist for a double cleanse had me put a little bit of, I forget the kind of oil, but some kind of oil in it to like get it all out. And it's been great. So there was that.
Nice.
This one I got back into, which is classic.
Love that.
Classic heritage, well, the rose water spray as a toner, kind of like, and I don't know, I mean, you know, it's a classic. I never thought that it would do anything, but it's really cute, and I don't know, I guess it's working, so I'm kind of sticking with it.
I have one of those at my desk.
Yeah, they're just kind of, wait, I'm actually gonna just show you or ask you about a few things and like my natural tips and tricks and show you my new product. So hang on, I'm getting them out. Okay. I started using this Eminence.
Yeah, Eminence is cool.
This hyaluronic acid serum. I started using the hyaluronic acid, and it really it's hyaluronic acid, right? Yeah. I really like it. And this one apparently is for like problem skin. But I just ordered a little test set of Eminence. What's your take on this brand?
They have a lot of really great probiotic products that I love. They have this one mask. I don't think it is like necessarily an entirely clay-based mask, but it has some clay in it, and it's for breakouts in particular. And you put it on and it kind of heats up. And I saw really great results from it. I was dealing with like a very pimply kind of like whitehead pimples situation after I had been wearing a sunscreen that really broke me out, and I really liked it. So
what is your take on the probiotic movement?
I think it's cool. Do you mean like for skincare or
yeah? I mean, I take
think,
probiotics anyways, but topically.
Me too. I think that there are a lot of very, very interesting results that people have seen from probiotic skincare. They tend to be a little bit more expensive. So what I say to people is it's okay if you can't afford it. There are just as amazing products that do the same thing for cheaper. But if you're into probiotics and you want to experiment with them, I do believe they work.
Okay. What's your take on the Sunday Riley products?
I like Sunday Riley. I think they're cool. Their Good Genes was one of kind of like my first loves when I was experimenting with skincare, when I got my job at the Strategist, so I could like afford to play with skincare a little bit more. I think they're great.
So vitamin C serum. This is the Sunday Riley CEO vitamin C brightening serum. What's your take on vitamin C being like, how important do you think a vitamin C thing is in your skincare routine?
I absolutely love vitamin C for sure. I think it's one of the best products you can have in your routine, especially if you struggle from post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which I do, which is like those little marks that spots can leave behind and last forever. I think a good vitamin C, unless you have a particular allergy to it, which I do know some people don't love the way their skin responds to it, is great for just about anyone.
What's it called? The Sunday Riley one?
Oh, no. And I'm just speaking in general.
Oh, in general.
I personally have been using this vitamin C from Allies of Skin, which I really like, but it is a more expensive product.
Yeah.
And I just like to make sure it really works before I recommend a product that's like $100.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the results on that are TBD, but so far I've been liking it.
So obviously Augustinus Bader started trying these. You're like, the creams. The rich cream and the cream.
It's tough because Harley, my sister, who obviously you know, but for anyone who's listening, she loves these creams and
Yeah.
really genuinely feels as though they have made such a significant difference on her skin. This is all just to say, like, one of the baseline things about skincare, which is that every product is different for everyone. You
Yeah.
know, Harley used it and her skin thrived, and she 100% believes that it's worth the money. I tried it and my skin actually didn't respond well. And I broke out from it. So, you know, for me, it was a miss, but for her, it was a big hit.
Okay.
Each their own in a way.
I only have 2 more or something, maybe.
It's like a decent amount, though.
And then my tips and tricks. Yeah, no, it's gotten bigger since I switch off as well. I use a salicylic acid cleanser. I switched that and like a mandelic cleanser in different times. I don't know. It seems to be working. But okay, have you heard of this one, the IS Clinical Pro Heal Serum Advance?
Yeah, everyone loves IS Clinical.
Okay. Do you know what
I haven't tried a lot of their
know
products,
exactly
though.
what it does. Me neither. I always felt like anything that looked too German spa, like I was like, this branding, like I'm not into the branding, but
Wasn't speaking to you.
yeah, but whatever. So what is your take on retinol? Because this one I started using the Environ
Nice.
Retinol
Yeah, I've
Serum
heard about that one.
Spray. What's your take on retinol? It's kind of changed my skin, I have to say. Like I always like avoided it, and then it's really changed my skin, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. I think that retinol is one of the most well-researched ingredients in the skincare game because how well it works is really crazy. It's one of those products that once you put it on your skin, it immediately starts doing its job, which is why after one day of putting it on your skin, you'll notice that your skin feels like very tight or flaky, or there's some tenderness or some redness because it immediately starts doing what it needs to do. The thing with retinol is that there is kind of this like interim period, right, where your skin's adjusting to it.
Freaks out.
And that's the time that makes people not want to try it. And I get it. I sympathize with that, especially if you have, you know, irritated skin naturally, if you deal with eczema, if you deal with psoriasis, the thought of adding more of that to your skin can be, you know, unthinkable. So I definitely say that it's something everyone should try at least at one point in their lives. I'm in the works right now of trying to nurture my mom into trying a retinol and integrating one into her routine. Yeah, I think they're awesome. I think they're super, super cool. And they're such a fun ingredient to learn about from like a nerdy skincare lover standpoint.
Yeah, I found with the retinol that it was exactly that. For about a month, my skin was crazy. It was like everything came to the surface. And then as soon as it cleared up, I mean, I started doing like once a week, you know, and then like twice a week. And now I use it maybe 3 times a week or something.
You did that exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about building up a tolerance too.
What are some of the retinols you recommend? Because I'm not going to lie, I'm running out of this one. And I'm curious what you would.
For over-the-counter retinols, I really like the First Aid Beauty one. I think that's really nice. And out of all the retinols I've tried, it was pretty non-irritating. Shireen, who is that dermatologist in New York that everyone absolutely adores, she loves the Skin Medica retinol, which I haven't tried, but I've heard great things about. Also, they're, you know, prescription retinols are kind of a different game, but I think that they're worth considering.
Yeah.
Since you've built up a tolerance, like you're not putting a prescription retinol on kind of virgin skin, if you will, for lack of a better word, your skin might not be as reactive to it since you've already kind of built up that tolerance with an over-the-counter retinol. It's tough for people to just like immediately start using prescription, but you know, the higher the dose, the greater the results and the faster you'll see them. So I always kind of say with retinol, it's worth doing the prescription thing, because if you're going to do it, kind of just do it.
Interesting. Okay.
But I do think building up a tolerance is important.
Okay. So this one I actually wanted to show you because it's incredible, and it's literally just German chamomile.
Oh,
It is truly and it's a spot treatment, and I've actually just like straight up German chamomile, specifically with jojoba oil.
jojoba,
It's
yeah.
literally like the best pimple treatment I've ever used. And my facialist told me about it. She's like very into like natural products, but
Nice.
it's incredible and I highly recommend it. It's super cheap, obviously. So I also, if you're listening, German chamomile with jojoba oil really is like a great spot treatment to try. Highly recommend
Fab.
it.
Love that.
So I think, yeah, I was just kind of curious. I wanted to pick your brain. I have an entire notepad that I plan on writing down. I plan on going
That
and
makes me so happy.
researching because, as you said, now is the time. And I mean, there's more, but I'm not going to get into it. I guess I've built up kind of an intense routine, actually, now that I think.
Yeah, no,
now that
that's
I'm
like a
looking
pretty
at
significant.
this, yeah, now that I'm looking at this, but you know, it's cool because, as you said, I started with like 3 things and then added these things in, and it's because I always loved the idea of skincare, but because my skin was so sensitive, I couldn't really try anything. So it's just been like slowly integrating things where I'm like trying it, you know, and I'm loving it. Actually, lastly, quick question. How do you feel about like layering serums?
I think that that's great. I think it's all about layering your products thinnest to thickest.
Right. Okay.
Do you know about this when it comes to
Yes.
serums?
Yes.
So unless vitamin C plays by its own rules, just to kind of confuse you even more.
Great.
But for the most part, the rule is thinnest to thickest consistency, so that it can all properly kind of get into your skin.
Okay. Noted. And is there like a maximum amount of serums that you can put on? Because like,
Well, how many serums are we talking?
Okay, so 8. No, I'm kidding. I just got the IS Clinical one that I'm using at night now. I tried it and I used only 2 serums. I do 2 serums and a moisturizer.
2 serums and a moisturizer is totally fine.
Okay.
I don't think that's bad at all.
Yeah, that's kind of the maximum that I'll do. And I just kind of switch it up, I guess. I mean, I have no idea literally what I'm doing, but it's fun.
But if it's working, then that's great.
Exactly. That's the point. I'm like, people are like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I have no idea. Do you really want to know?
As long as you keep track of like what skincare products are doing to your skin. My one problem with someone like jumping into a routine and doing 10 things at once is it can be really hard to figure out what's doing what, right? If you break out or something, you have to kind of do a whodunit, trying to kind of assess which product was the trigger. That's my only thing about people like jumping in. But I think if you have a core set and you slowly start to add stuff, that's like the best method.
Okay. Noted. Well, I really appreciate you giving. I basically I mean, I basically just got a whole lesson, which is, I mean, as you said, there's probably could go on forever about like ahas and like all of those crazy things, but we can save that for another time because it'd probably take a really long time to explain all of those, like the differences between like the lactic acids and the glow.
Exactly.
I mean, what? Okay.
I mean, it's well, funnily, you should mention this, Atlanta, because I'm actually currently working on a book about skincare, and it's
working on a book.
Yeah. So one of the reasons why I maybe sound so manic during this podcast episode is because my book is like weeks away from going into transmittal, which is kind of like the beginning of the end. And I'm writing a book about skincare, and it's all about kind of like the ins and outs and tiny little tips and tricks and just like super digestible charts and graphs and things that help you become a more empowered skincare consumer. So my hope is that like after you read the book, you walk into Sephora and you're like, I know what the difference is between a
I love
glycolic
a
and lactic
graph.
acid.
I love
I
seeing things
love a graph.
visually
Me
because
too.
it's
I'm
too
such a
much when
visual
I'm
learner too.
reading. It's really
Yeah.
overwhelming. So that's great. That's great. What would, if I wanted to try the K Beauty, what do you think would be like the best thing to add in or try?
I think one of the best introductory brands to K Beauty is
Mm-hmm.
CosRX.
Oh, okay. That's the pimple things
Yeah, it's a
okay.
pimple patch, but they have everything. They have cleansers, they have toners, they have exfoliants, and honestly, I know this is a pretty bold claim, but you can kind of not really go wrong with them. All their products are a great price point, and at the very least, it'll teach you about ingredients because they do have quite a medical look to them, which is very helpful in educating you on what is in the product.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like my first introduction to a lot of ingredients that I maybe wouldn't have learned about before was through CosRX. Definitely think that's a great starting point. And
Cool.
they're sold in so many places now. Like they were selling CosRX in Rickies and stuff like that. So it's not just something you have to really, really seek out anymore.
Phenomenal. Okay, well, I'm gonna go do some research. She talk about like boxes that are gonna arrive. I'm gonna end up having like 1,000 different things. No, I'm kidding. I won't go crazy, but I am actually super excited to go and look at all of these things and I'll report back.
Amazing. I can't wait to see. Keep me in the loop. Keep me
I
posted.
Okay,
You know where to
well,
find me.
yeah, I sure do. Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm very excited for people to check this out. I'm sure they're going to be like as excited as I am. So thank you so much for taking the time to explain to me everything about skincare essentially. And like, I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this was so fun. And so I could talk about products for hours. So
Okay, great.
it's
Well,
just
we can do part 2 about,
would love that.
I'll try a couple things. I'll come back.
And that
And
perfect. Sounds like a
we'll
plan.
revisit. Yeah. Okay. Well, stay safe out there. Stay warm in New York. And yeah, I will see you on the other side.
Fabulous.
Okay. Thanks, Rio. Bye.
Be sure to share, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at I'm Over It Podcast or me at Atlanta Bean. I've also launched a Patreon if you really, really love I'm Over It. So head over to www.patreon.com/I'm Over It. Until next time.